Welcome to another in the continuing series of 4-Minute Fridays from TPM. My name is Bruce Harris, and I'm a Senior Application Engineer here at TPM. Today we're going to work on converting existing AutoCAD details and Revitizing them and placing them in a detail library that we can use in Revit. So with that said, let's go over to Revit. Now over here in Revit, we're going to create a view, and the type of view we're going to create is called a drafting view. Now a drafting view is not a part of the model. It's like, think of it like a separate sheet of paper that you can draft on. Typically it's used for details and any other kind of sketching. Now the name doesn't matter because we are in a blank project that's going to be a throwaway project. So the first step to this would be to create a blank throwaway project. The name here doesn't matter because this is not what it's ultimately going to be named, but the scale does matter. So make sure the scale is appropriate for what you're going to bring in. So I'm in this blank sheet of paper now, drafting 1, and I'm going to insert an AutoCAD Detail. So I'm going to import CAD. I'm going to go to this mechanical curb drawing that I have. All the settings are fine. And I'm going to go open. And there we go. There is our AutoCAD Detail. Now what we want to do is we want to select the object and do something you would, I repeat, never, ever, 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 ever do in a live project. We are going to fully explode it. Now, I'm very serious about never, ever doing this in a live project. This can be asking for trouble, asking for contamination in your project. You don't want to do this, which is why we are doing this whole thing in a blank project that's going to be a throwaway project. So we go here and we're going to fully explode. Now, what we're going to do next is we're going to select all the objects and use our wonderful little filter command to make our life easier. So I'm going to click on filter. Now what you see in here are the different object types as they came in from AutoCAD. So I've got lines, and this in parentheses, a ano note, a detail medium, a detail thin. Those are the layers that the line work came off of in AutoCAD. So if your AutoCAD details are layered well, and you know what each of the layers is supposed to be used for, it makes your life a whole lot easier. So in this case, I'm going to say that I want everything that's on a ano note and a detail thin to use a specific line weight. And I'm going to use this line style up here. And obviously I'm going to use one of the existing line styles that come with Revit. I'm not going to use these A ones here that came out of AutoCAD. So I'm going to go down and say they're going to be thin lines. Now, I like to start with my AutoCAD Detail being in full color, and as I convert things, when they go to black and white, I know they've been converted. So all my layers in AutoCAD have colors, and as I convert, they go to black and white. So you can see part of our line work is now black and white. Now I'm going to repeat that process, select everything, go back to the filter command, and this time I'm going to only check a detail medium. And notice the a detail thin and the a ano notes aren't there anymore because we converted them to thin lines. So now we have the a detail medium selected, and I'm going to take them to medium lines. And we have a few more now that are black and white. Select again, filter, This time I'm going to do the lines a detail wide, and I'm going to change them to wide lines. So at this point in time, all my regular line work is converted. So the next thing I want to do, that same concept, go to my filter, and this time I only want my text note. So this is going to be my text. Okay. Now, obviously you can have SHX styles coming out of AutoCAD. You want to make sure that they're true type fonts in here. So I'm going to go over here and convert them to one of my standard styles that I have configured in Revit. So I'm going to take this 3/32 Arial. Now, anytime you convert from one kind of text to another kind of text, you have the possibility of slight differences in the text, and therefore maybe word wrap will take place in a different location. You see this happened right here. This text got jumbled a little bit. So I'm just going to make this a little bit wider, and now it's back to what it's supposed to be. So now all my text is converted. The only thing I have left to convert are the hatch patterns. So I'm going to select the whole thing, go back to my filter, and these detail items, those are my hatch patterns. Now I've only got a couple patterns that aren't solid. I've got this one that isn't solid and this one. So I'm just going to select them all rather than doing them one at a time and make them all solid black, and then I'm going to change those two that aren't supposed to be solid black individually. So I'm going to change this one. There we go. I'm going to change this one to a diagonal down, and I'm going to change this one to a diagonal crosshatch. So at this point in time, I have all of my objects converted to Revit objects. Now there are objects that do not convert well. Dimensions do not convert well, so I wouldn't even attempt to convert a dimension. I would delete them. Also, I have some leaders here, and although they look correct, they are not true Revit leaders. So if that's something you wanted, you would erase the line and the hatch pattern, that is the arrowhead, and then since all text objects in Revit have the ability to be leaders, you would, I guess I wanted to come out of the top and turn it on, and now I have a leader here. Now I want my arrowheads to match, so I need to edit the style here, and instead of an arrow 30 degree, I'm going to do an arrow fill 20 degree, and I think that ought to match up pretty closely. So now it is a true Revit leader, and you could convert the rest of them if you want, or graphically they looked fine anyway. Now at this point in time, it's all Revit objects. Now with that full explode, we've got a lot of AutoCAD garbage that's in this project. What we want to do is leave it behind. So what I'm going to do is I am going to select all these objects, and I'm going to come over here and copy them to the clipboard. Then I'm going to come into another project. Let's open another project. Thought I had one open there. I didn't. That's just another view. So I'm going to open a project, and the project I'm going to open is my detail library. So now I am in another project. Now the only thing that exists in this project are drafting views. So I'm going to make a new drafting view. And the name here does matter. This is the name that it's going to be. And the scale here does matter as well. Okay, so now I'm in here, have a blank sheet of paper. I want to paste, so I'll go back to modify and go to paste and paste in my converted objects from the clipboard. Now, at this point in time, this view is not where I want it to be. So in properties, you have to make sure that you have your view in the discipline that you want. So in your browser, it will now be, did I not do that? Nope, I did a discipline, but I didn't do a subdiscipline. Let's get it right this time, Bruce. So we're going to change both the discipline and the subdiscipline. We'll change it to details. So now over here in our project browser, it's listed in here along with the other detail that I had in here. So I am going to save and exit this particular project. So I'm going to close that and say yes to save changes. Now this is back in the project that I created it in. So this is our throwaway project. So I'm going to go and close it and say no to save changes. Now I'm just going to begin a new project and show you how we would get details from our library into our new project. So now I'm going to go up here to Insert, and I am going to Insert from File, Insert Views from a File, and I'm going to have to go over to where I stored it. Where'd I put it? Okay, now I'm in that detail library, and it will give me a list of all the details in that particular project. And I can check all the different ones I want to bring in. Now, this is how you organize your details in Revit. So you can have as many projects as you want and name them something that makes sense and organize your details in logical groups. So I'm going to go OK now, and both of those are going to be in. Now I do have, remember when I made that change to 3/30 seconds aerial so I could get the arrowhead right? Well, what this is saying is it's defined differently in my project than it is in the library, and of course my project is going to take precedent, so my arrowhead ain't going to be right. I'd have to change that in this project if I wanted that to be a permanent style change. So there's one, but that's not the one I converted. Let's go over here to the one I converted, which is this mechanical curb, and voila, there we are. We have our detail inserted into our project, and it is Revit objects, so we won't have any slowness associated with inserting AutoCAD entities in there. Thank you for watching another in our continuing series of 4-Minute Fridays from TPM. Look for us at tpm.com, or you can subscribe to TPM Solutions channel on YouTube. Once again, thank you for watching.